So, welcome to the HouShan Culture and Art Space, where we have an exhibition of my work with Josh Wu. So this marks 10 years of our collaboration in architecture and 3D design. Here we have a little introduction about Josh and I. We start here. This is my partner, Josh. So 10 years ago,
10年前
2014, we started working.
14年就开始一起工作。
So this is our second office in Zhuhai. This building is still there, but it's not our office anymore, but that was our office for a while.
这是他们在珠海的第二个办公室，但是现在办公室已经搬了，不在那里了。
Yeah, and this is what it originally looked like. They cut it to put a cafe down there, but anyway, this is the original idea.
那个照片是他原来的样子，后面就是他在楼下开了一个咖啡厅，就现在这个样子。
All right, so how we came together was this project.
就是他从这个项目开始认识这个 Josh Wu 就吴先生，他的合伙人。
So Josh was designing this project as his office on the upstairs and a cafe in the bottom floor. And I started consulting on this because I was working on a project in Hawaii. We're using similar materials, shipping containers.
OK， 然后 Josh 他的办公室在这里的2楼，然后下面是一个咖啡厅。 然后当时Ron 呢，他在夏威夷在忙一个项目，然后这是他跟 Josh 认识的项目，因为他在夏威夷那个项目也是用集装箱来创作的，所以他们就走到了一起。
Okay, so this is in the HouShan village. This is the bakery where the bakery, the cafe would use to make their food, and then this was the actual structure with the office above. Here's a picture of the interior of the office. And
办公室的照片，然后就是在北山村里面他们的那个项目，2楼是办公室，下面是咖啡，就咖啡厅。
Right. And then here we have the model of the structure.
这是那个项目的模型，
Yeah.
集装箱。
So this has been in HouShan for 10 years.
在北山村已经10年了。
But now it's gone. They removed it just 3 months ago. They removed it. So that was another good reason to do this exhibition because it's now been removed.
但是这个项目它已经不在了啊，就被拆迁了。然后所以他做这个展览的一个重要的部分就是要把这些项目都呈现出来。
Okay. So this was the first project we worked on together.
他跟Josh 一起工作的第一个项目。
And this was the second project we worked on together.
这是第2个项目。
This is still in HouShan. You can see this still today in
这个
HouShan.
也在北山，然后这个项目现在也在的。
So what this is a contemporary music institute, a music school.
OK， 是现代音乐学院。
And the idea of the covering is to protect for sound because there was a very noisy street, carts and motorbikes coming by, and this was designed so that it would diffract and protect for sound.
然后这个外立面的材料呢，是考虑到就是要因为它是里面是一个学校，然后它要隔音，因为在周围的环境有很多摩托车啊、人声啊，有很多噪音，所以他们就用这个设计来阻挡那些噪音。
So down below was a place called Golden Jazz, which was a jazz club. And
楼下是一个爵士吧。
yeah, that's not there, and all this is moved now. But the building is still there, but it's used for different purposes.
OK， 它里面的机构可能都不在了，但是它那个建筑还在。
Okay, so then the third project in HouShan was this. So this was an ancestral hall, as you can see.
是一个宗祠啊，宗
Yes.
祠
And they want to turn it into an art gallery.
然后当地的应该是社区吧，然后他想变成一个艺术空间，把宗祠变成艺术空间。
Right, so like I said, this building is still there today, except now they've painted this white. I don't know why they did it, it's ugly. But, you know, people do things.
宗祠还在，但是后面有那些人就把where which part?
This no, just the frame. The frame.
然后他们就把这些黑框涂成白色。
Yeah.
Ron 他不喜欢，就是要涂成白色，然后他也不明白他们为什么要涂成白色。
Okay, so the problem with this space was somebody had covered these courtyards with wood. You could hardly see anything. You couldn't see the columns. You couldn't see the interior courtyard. And I said we have to tear it all out and we make a glass.
So this is the original.
No, this is our design.
Right.
The original I didn't even put a picture of because it's so ugly.
然后原先这里他们是用了一些可能是一些围挡来就是挡住来保护这些应该是一些古迹之类的，然后他们就是觉得很不好看，很不美观，然后就用了这个玻璃的设计。
Yeah. So the idea is we wanted to be able to see the original architecture. We wanted to see the original elements of the building, but we had to make it climate controlled because it's got to be controlled for the artwork. Yeah. So everything was done with that in mind. So like in this example here, you had this beautiful woodwork in the roof.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it because it was dark. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but we needed structure here so we could hang panels to hang artworks. We needed track lighting below so we can illuminate the panels and the artwork. But I also wanted lighting above so I can see the architecture.
OK， 他们就是在设计这个结构之前不是结构的时候呢，他们要考虑到就是要看到就是里面的这些东西，然后也做了恒温处理，就是要把这些古迹都保存好。然后这里的话也就是加了一些灯光啊，然后可以挂画，同时也可以就是提供给作品提供光照。然后也看到就是上面的木结构。
他很强调要看到那个古迹的原来的。
So the design of this structure was taken from the Palace Museum in Beijing. The emperor was given a bookcase that had a similar kind of structure.
Okay.
And so I adopted that to make a more modern lighting structure.
它的这个结构的灵感就是故宫里面皇帝的 bookcase right
Bookcase, yes.
故宫里面那些书架它的灵感就是然后它就是从故宫里面就是吸取到的这些就是灵感。The color, including the color and.
Well, the bookcase was brown wood. It's in the book there. If you look, this exhibition was designed based on that book. So if you look in the book, you'll see the original bookcase.
它那个画册里面有关于这方面的介绍。
明白。
Okay, so normally in front here you would have this panel of in wood, and you wouldn't be able to see anything. Yeah. What we did is we took it apart section by section.
Okay.
We moved it to the side. And we set it so that it has space between. We put a glass brick between, so light would get in behind it,
Okay.
and it would be a storage space at the front desk of the exhibition space.
原来它就是在这些柱之间，它有这些应该是门吧，就是有一些金漆的门，然后但他们就是把这些门都挪到一边，然后就是让就是中间这个部分可以成为一个展览空间，然后两边都能看到。
很通透。
It's very full.
Yeah, again, I think there are better pictures in the book.
我想问一下这个金属结构都是用金色来表达，是一个什么考虑呢？是从环境的这种感官上去考虑的，还是有什么别的想法？
What's your reason for using the color gold on these frames?
So I wanted this to be brass.
黄铜的那种。
对，
黄铜的那种。
Because I wanted to be able to see the structure. If I make it a dark color, it just fades back into the ceiling. I wanted to see the structure, but I also want to see the ceiling. I want both
想
things.
让观众去看到它的结构，就是这些。如果就是用故宫那种书架那种木的颜色的话，它就会跟这个屋顶
Okay.
就
叠在一起，对，然后就看不到这个结构。
So once I had done that, my partner decided he wanted to do this. So it's a collaboration.
Okay.
There's two people working. My design for this would have been less obvious.
Okay.
But we work together, so this is what we do.
原来这个顶上的这个结构是 Ron 设计的，然后这个展区是Josh 就是他的设计的，但就是他说如果就这个结构他来设计的话，他会让这个 frame 就是这框架没那么明显。 他其实就是讲就是他的 idea 就是好一点，因为其实他对。
If you go here today, again, they painted this white now. So,
哇，那些人把他这些也涂成白色了。
so this looks better than that. I got to say, this looks better than that, but it's still, it's a little.
他觉得这起码这个涂成白色的话，比外面那个涂成白色好看，但是他还是觉得来。
See, this is the problem with architecture design. Artwork is protected, yeah. When people who buy my collectors go to retirement or something, they have to contact me and tell me, I can't keep your piece. Do you want it back? Do you have someone who will take it? So then I contact people, and I usually find another collector who would like to have it. And I say, okay, so send it to them, or donate it to your local institution, museum, library, whatever. You can't destroy it.
Right.
Yeah. Architecture. That's the problem. That's the
他
problem.
就说，就是如果是艺术家的作品的话，人们还就是会放多一点尊重，然后就是他当一个就是他的一个艺术家的作品，他要就是要
转手的时候
对转手的时候，可能就是要联系艺术家，然后要不要就是卖到另外一个收藏者那里啊？但是如果是作为建筑师的话，
就无能为力。
然后可能人他对建筑师的作品没有那么强的那个概念啊，不认为它是一个作品，然后就随改就改。
对，它的主人的可以随时主观的去改变很多东西。对。
Yeah, that's no respect.
Yeah, it just happens to be that way.
An architect, well, it's an artwork.
这一点王总
it is an
的
artwork.
经验， 想改就改。
It's set. Well, I mean, in the United States, we've actually learned from our mistakes. So we had a beautiful building called Madison Square Garden. It was a gorgeous building. It was torn down completely, and now they put some horrible thing there.
Right.
But they learned from that, and they realized we have to protect these things. So now there's organizations that if a building is very, very significant, they say, okay, you can't just tear it down,
Right.
and you have to do something to protect it.
他就说美国就是从错误中学习要怎么去保护一个就是建筑。他讲到有一个where is that garden?
It's in Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan,
Okay.
Madison Square Garden. It's called.
曼哈顿有一个 Madison
Square
麦迪逊广场的一个花园，然后当时是应该是when was it?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 1930s, something like that.
30年，人家就是发生在30年的时候就有这个意识，就是他当时是应该是市政厅把它拆了之后，然后就放了一些很丑的东西在上面，然后但是后来人们也认识到，哎，你不能就是随便去改造一个建筑啊。其实我们就是从欧洲啊、欧美啊那些也就是说you have to apply to government.
So for example, my home in New York was a building that's called a brownstone, which is considered classic New York architecture.
Right, yeah.
So the front of the building, I cannot change at all.
Right, yeah.
The inside of the building, I can do what I want where I live, but I can't change the front of the building. And that's okay. That's the idea. You protect the idea of the architecture.
他在纽约的家就是那种挺有历史感的那种建筑啊。如果他要改变他建筑的外观的话，他必须得就是要申请啊，不然的话，它里面你随便怎么干都可以，但是你如果要改变它的外观的话，你必须要考虑申请。
Yeah, but even on the inside, what I do to my own space is I respect the architecture originally. I keep the original elements. There's a fireplace. I restore the fireplace. My ex-wife was a art conservator for the Guggenheim Museum. And so we could do things very professionally to restore stuff. And so we restored everything as it was.
但是就是即便他在纽约的家，他也就非常尊敬就那个建筑本来有的那些结构，例如那个 fireplace
是那种消防栓类似于那种东西
啊，不是，就是 fireplace 我忘了中文叫什么，就是取暖的地方火炉对，然后他前期是古根海姆的顾问。然后他们就是建筑师艺术家嘛，他们可以很专业的去改变一些东西，但是他们还是比较尊重原来的就是建筑的结构。
Okay, so let's go over here. So the fourth project we worked on together was this one. This is in Gombe. And Gombe. This was the flower shop for one of the top
花店
florists.
哦 ，OK，
And this is their showroom. This was the
花
showroom.
店的展厅，
Yeah. So this is the showroom, and then their offices were upstairs. This is the office upstairs. So there's
这个是在2楼的办公室。
哦，
there's an exterior garden on the wall. Those are plants on the wall, but this is on the
哦，
inside.
这是植物墙，这些花盆。
So this the
啊，
outside the window.
中
Well, outside the window are plants, and then inside,
开了一个那个
yeah, inside we're
Is
like
the
this.
building still here?
The building is still there. I don't know if it's still being used this way.
OK。
Yeah, and I don't think the flower shop is there. I think she went out of business.
可能花店已经了，
哦，
You know, COVID killed a lot of
可
things.
能
Yeah.
疫情期间倒闭的。
So this same client asked me. This is her actually. This is the woman.
同一个老板同一个客户
Yeah. So she asked me to design a cafe. She had this big factory space where the flower arrangements would be made.
这工厂的空间然后要做一个咖啡厅。
Yeah. And so she had all these shipping pallets because all these things come on shipping pallets. And so I.
是这个
啊，
对装作品的那些货架。
Yeah. So I had this design for the shipping pallets. I came up with this design for the shipping pallets, and we decided to build the cafe like this using these elements. And
OK
so this was it was a fairly large cafe.
这个咖啡厅很大，然后他们就用这些木架来做设计。
OK，就是做一些空间的隔离呀，哈，这样的。
Using design these structures as screens.
As partitions, yeah, partitions.
对。
And then also, you know,
屏风的
you could put plantings here, right? So you could have plants on the
上面也可以
surfaces.
放很多植物。
对。
Very organic.
Yeah. I mean, I have a roof garden. I actually had designed this for my roof garden.
So this is your roof garden?
I know I didn't use it at my roof garden because I live literally on the edge of the Pearl Sea. I could see Hong Kong from my roof.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the problem is when the typhoon comes, I can't really have this. I built a stone.
You wanted to, but you can't.
Yeah, I wanted to. I built a stone one made out of cinder block.
OK.
The typhoon knocked that over.
他在珠海的家，然后他想用这种设计来，就是设计他的那个楼顶花园，但是不行，台风太多了然后后来他用那个那种建筑木板材料，然后建了一个屏风类似屏风的东西，然后也被台风摧毁。
哦。
So you have to be real careful. All right, so these are other projects, and these are proposed projects. So they haven't been built. This is in Anhui Province. This is the Dantu History Museum.
OK，
And they had built this.
这是提案，这些都是提案，就是
They had built this structure. They needed to alter it for cafes and other things, so we had come up with another design. Again, more of the detail is in the book than what's on the
这
wall.
是安徽当涂市的然后他们也想建一个艺术空间，然后加 cafe 的一个组合。
哦。
对，
这
效果
是提案，就没有做出来。
Again, in the book, there's more detail. There was a theater, there was a restoration facility, there was a cafe, a bookstore, a lot of things.
So you did design for this organization?
Yes, because I used to work at the Guggenheim Museum also.
Okay.
And so the Guggenheim had been restored in like 1983, where they changed everything quite a bit. And so I saw what they did, I knew what they did, and what they did was very smart. So they have a bookstore, they have a cafe, they have a theater. Well, what do you do when you have people come to those events at 9 o'clock at night? You don't want to have the whole museum open, and you're paying for all the guards to protect the artwork. No, so what you do is you design the building so that those areas can be accessed separately.
Right.
And so you have revenue coming, you're making money off of those facilities, but yet you're not having to pay for all the guards and the security and everything, and the lights and everything else. So that's what they did.
Okay.
And so we designed this that way. Yeah.
很重要。OK， 然后他这个 So they accepted the proposal.
No, they didn't accept the proposal.
But I asked if you designed for the organization.
Yeah, we designed. We went there. We presented it, but you don't necessarily get the contract.
But
You know, when you when you talk about these things, there's politics, there's regulations, there's all these things. Connection, there's guanxi, there's all sorts of stuff. Right?
原来是他们没有采取他们提案，但是Ron 的话，他因为知道古根海姆他当时要1983年的时候，古根海姆他是要做一个比较大的一个调整，然后当他们要加书店，要加theater 电影院然后 cafe， 还有就是展览空间，然后这么多东西。很多就是美术馆很多活动，它都是晚上8、9点开始，然后你不可能就是8、9点宾客来到，然后你整个馆都要打开，你必须得就是然后就是又有安保、空调之类的，然后一个费用很大。对，所以他当时就是给这个安徽的 idea， 就是像古根海姆的，你要区域性开放你就不需要就是整个馆都开空调，然后去请保安但是后来就是安徽没有接受他们的提案。然后他就是政治原因什么关系原因，
他们想
会影响，
可能不想分区工作，他们就一通天从头开到尾。
钱太多了是吧？
钱太多嘛。
Okay, so this is another project. This is in Zhuhai. This is the original building.
这是珠海另外一个项目，然后这是项目原来的原来的样子。
And what you can see from the picture is that there was flooding every time there was a big rain or something. This whole area would be flooded with water.
就是有一个水淹的问题就是照片上面也显示了，就是每当下雨的时候，然后就很多水会有积水。对。
Right. So what I said is, look, the road is up here. The road is high. Let's build a bridge and then connect to the second level of the building, so that this way you don't have to deal with this with the water. And then what we do on the bottom is we build a wall to protect this water from coming into the building, but we use a reflecting pool to keep the water element, so that when this does flood, it just becomes an extension of the pool. Right?
OK， 然后他们就是为了规避这个积水的问题，然后首先就是从这里就是2层这里，因为它比较高，然后他就做了一个桥，然后就直接从这个桥，然后去到这个农场的2楼然后
2楼呀，
就可以避免就是走到这些积水上面，然后但是有积水也不用怕，你必须走这边的话，他就在这里做了一个小湖。然后这水可以流到那边去，但是即便是水流不到，然后就可以看成是这个湖的延伸。
Now, this project, they didn't accept our proposal, but they went and built this anyway.
They stole your idea.
They stole the concept. Now, they didn't do this. They didn't do this, but they did do this because they realized this was the core of the idea.
The same as you.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the
这
same.
个政府没有采纳方案，但是却建出了跟他的方案一模一样的这个建筑，就等于偷了。
这个桥，他们建的这个桥这也不错，致敬。
This is what happens. Yeah. This is what happens.
Salute to your,
to
your work.
This is the way it is. This is the way it is. But I guess I should be flattered that they saw the wisdom of this idea. Yeah.
他应该就是为他们看到他的智慧而感到欣慰。
So this was another project, not in Zhuhai, in Guangxi, and this was a kindergarten school. Kindergarten school. So again, these are all proposals. Nothing was built from these, but they're proposals.
这些都是提案。
Another project in Zhuhai. This man had the access to the whole building. He wanted a gym on this level. He wanted a cafe or restaurant on the upper level, and then down below would be co-working spaces down at the lower level. And so I designed this gym in this glass structure here, and above he wanted to have a cafe. So I said, well, look, you gotta have sunscreen or some protection. So let's do this design, which is the same as that over there, right? I just adopted that for this project.
OK， 这个客户的话，它就是有这一个整栋的一个结构，然后楼下这一楼它这里是一个健身房，然后楼上是咖啡，然后地下是一个共享空间，就是那种就是年轻人可以去那里办公的地方。然后他当时就说想到就是你要采光然后他就用了他的那个设计
okay.
然后就做成这个结构。
And again, in the gallery over there, they wanted some element above, and so I did this element based on that idea, but somewhat different. Yeah.
OK， 然后这个结构就是跟那边那个就是故宫的书架那个灵感是一样的。
Okay, so then this is a video. Here's the book, by the way. So from here you can see that there's a lot more detail on various projects that are in here.
它就是墙上的
Like for example, this is the museum, and you can see this is the theater. This is the ground plan, some other things.
这个就是那个安徽的项目这还有剧院。
The video is an interview that was done in that space when we first opened that space. It's quite long. We're not going to. You can see it later. But that got obviously a lot of press. We were in Zhuhai magazine. We were on the television with this video. There was a bunch of different things that happened.
这个视频是他们在他们那个项目，就是第一个项目里面拍的。然后那个项目就是给他们搞到了很多媒体的曝光做了很多采访杂志。
They even made a three-dimensional virtual model, which is online somewhere. I just have to find the address, and you can actually go through the space.
它在网上有一个3D 的一个对建模，但是他要想一下怎么找到那个网址。
Thank you. And so these were other projects proposed, all for the Beishan village. Simone, who does the music festival, had suggested maybe we turn this into an outdoor. The music festival used to be indoors in a theater, and then the regulations changed. It was a big problem somewhere, and they said we can't do indoor theater things. So we were going to use the parking spaces here as this space. So I designed this small mountain and tunnel underneath it, and a stage made from shipping containers, and this was that project.
这个是北上音乐节的一个设计，然后当时它是在室内的本来但是后来它的那些规定好像有变，然后他就想就是用一个户外的一个停车场来做成这些设计。好像北上音乐节跟沙滩音乐节是一样的。It's like the terrace.
It's like exactly. It's like the rice terrace.
Yeah.
So the idea was that you could have places people could sit here and watch what was going on, or they could just sit here because it had to be a park during the days when it was not being used, and so people could sit here and use it as a park.
就是在白天音乐节是在晚上，在白天的时候，它可以就是一个公园休憩空间。
And then down through this space underneath, there's a tunnel, and then you have commercial things. You can buy soda, drinks, whatever you need, that sort of stuff.
然后就在这个空间，它还可以做一点商业的东西，就是像卖饮料卖咖啡对呀。
他想得好全面。
And then the stage itself was designed from a shipping container that I turn on axis, and then I have a sunscreen above, and then basically these function as elevators to bring things up to the thing. And
这个是舞台也是采用集装箱的一个设计，然后上面是一个遮阳的，然后这里有一个电梯就可以运器材上去。
So I did a lot of projects with shipping containers. That's what's all here.
这边都是集装箱的设计。
And then this was another project for Beishan. They wanted to redo. There's a whole market here where people sell things, lots of small vendors. The idea was to get a more unified space. And so I designed a large wet market for where they could sell the vegetables and the meat. And then this would be for small vendors who do different projects. Up here would be a restaurant. This was actually a recycling building. It's on the roof. We would put a cafe or something.
这个是北山的一个市场的设计。
Yeah,
然后
this-
它这些
that's the
小单位就是比如出租不同的商家，然后这里是一个垃圾回收店，然后它楼上就建了一个咖啡厅。
So anyway, then this was this is like
This is
above.
all the marketplace.
Yeah, this is the marketplace. This is the
Okay.
back side of that building,
Oh, okay.
and so there was a cafe on the second floor. That's what that is. I kind of used this motif from I think that's from
okay, okay.
Beijing, right? From
九龙壁。
对对对对。
这个也是就是市场的设计，这是它的背面，然后就是这里就是用九龙壁的设计来做一个壁画。这里是一个咖啡厅。
2楼在。
Arlo. Right.
二楼。
So anyway, the container projects won me an award, which is what this is about. This is the award I won in Macau for my container architecture.
这个它集装箱的设计就是赢了澳门的一个奖。
Yeah, and then these are the projects that were in that selection for that. So this was again for Beishan. They wanted they wanted some sort of performing arts stage, and I did one with shipping containers with big LED screens on the outside, so you could project what's going on stage. The performers would be up here, the audience would be down below. These were then shops where you could buy drinks and whatever. So
这
that
个
was.
是一个珠海音乐中心，然后它这些面都是 LED 屏，然后就是可以做一些投屏然后音乐人，然后就在这里这个地方，然后去表演，下面是观众然后这些也是一些商业空间的设计然后就在这里做一些商业的，对。
And then the public's down here.
那观众在下面。
And then these are in the back side of that structure. So you
这
had.
个就是这个项目的背面。
Yeah, so again, you have elevator for bringing things up to the stage area. You had a staircase on the other side, so you have access for up
这
and
边
down.
是电梯，用来运送器材的，然后这边是楼梯用来人走的。
So this was one project, and this was the Hawaii project, which is over there,
okay.
right? And then
夏威夷的项目。
yeah, and this was supposed to be a private home. This was supposed to be a house. This would be the main house. This would be a guest house.
OK。
I designed it for myself, but I
他给自己设计了一个家。这里是主人房，然后这边是客人房。
Yeah, and the problem is that these things get like they're ovens in the sun,
Yeah.
so you need sun protection, and so that was the idea. So this was to be built
然后
there.
集装箱有一个很大的问题，就是夏天呢会像一个火炉一样所以他就做了这个挡阳的，对，然后来遮挡一些热气。
Okay, and then the other project that was part of this proposal was this. This was in Tanja, and they wanted it. They had an industrial park. They wanted a place for workers to come have lunch and whatever. And so this was a big project with large, big shipping containers forming the structures. Again, these things weren't built, but then my ideas can then be used. Like now, I'm thinking about working. There's an institution in America that a nonprofit organization. And we're thinking about using this idea for a museum.
OK。 然后这里面的所有提案都是就是赢了那个奖的就是一个系列。然后它这里是唐家湾的一个工业公园然后他就用这集装箱来给一些货运公司的工人去吃饭。然后但是就是后来甲方也没有采用他的提案，但是他想就是他回到美国的时候，然后他就可以用这个设计来做一个美术中心。
Okay, so then on this wall.
就是有一个那个把光那个分散出去反射出去这样的一个功能
This is to
Protect from the sun.
protect
Yeah, protect from the sun.
就是
So the model for it's over there.
那个就是模型。
Yeah, the model for it's over there. So on this wall we have Josh's projects. So these are projects he's worked on.
Okay.
He's won several awards for this project in the middle here, which is in Beishan now. You can still go see this. This is actually a whiskey bar, I think. I don't know. They may have changed it. This is a bookstore. This was next to the cafe over there. That was near the cafe.
Yeah.
It's a bookstore. And then on the extreme right side was the first project I'd ever seen from him, which was called the Rude Bar. And the thing about the Rude Bar, it was beautiful. It looked so good. I said this could be London, Paris, New York. It was world-class architecture. If you look at it closely,
这边都是他的伙伴的 项目
哦
这个是他看到的他伙伴做的第一个项目是一个roof right rooftop
Rude, no, called Rude Bar. That's just the name of it. I think this is the information about it in here.
哦 OK rude
Rude, yeah. It's a funny.
叫粗鲁的粗鲁吧粗鲁吧。
啊，出鲁吧。哦
It's a funny name. It's
然
a
后他
funny
他的
name.
那边他就觉得就是
It's a funny name.
这is it in China？
It was in Zhuhai. This was in
啊，
Zhuhai.
然后他
Well, this is
他就觉得他把它做的好像在
柏林在纽约
啊，好像
哦
对，就是全世界都适用的一个。
It could have been New York, Paris, London. It was so beautifully done. This is all terrazzo, absolutely gorgeous terrazzo, yeah. And then you can see they're like platforms,
材料
very small tile, and then on top are the seating areas for people to
Okay.
have drinks and.
这里是座位
哦
座位，然后这些砖都很小很小
Yeah, like this you can see here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
This is-
And then
sure,
and then the
sure.
ceiling was all done with this steel. I said to Josh when I met Josh, he told me he had designed this with his partner, Vietnamese partner. I was like, wow, this is the best architecture I've seen in this city. You couldn't build this in New York. It would cost you so much money to make
Okay.
this. Nobody could do it. But here in Zhuhai, it was here. You know.
他的伙伴跟一个越南籍的一个设计师做的设计，然后当时 Warren 他就感叹哇，这个项目太棒了，就是在美国在纽约的话根本做不到，因为太贵了啊。
Now, again, this is gone.
哦
the
又被拆迁了。
the owner of this space had a big factory, I think, in Hong Kong somewhere.
Okay.
Big financial crisis in 2008 or something. He lost a lot of money. He ended up having to sell the space, and then the next people come in and they tear it out because
Right.
they don't understand.
OK，他老板在香港有一个做工厂的，不知道生产什么东西啊，然后就是08年应该是金融风暴，对金融风暴的时候，然后他就是大出血，然后后面这个地方应该是转让给别人，但是后面的东家他不明白这个设计，然后就给拆迁，
哦，
就给撤掉。
那当时叫这个粗鲁吧是。因为这个酒吧它是就是用这个名字表达一种很酷的状态呢，还是跟里头的这个设计和自己的一种有一个呼应呢
So the name Rude, is it just an attitude or it's connected to the design, to the idea?
I think it's just an attitude.
Okay.
I think it's just an
只是一
attitude.
个态度。
？OK，
Yeah, I don't know. Be trendy, whatever. Anyway, the good news is that this project still exists.
这个项目还在，现
This
在
is,
还在。
it's called Ben Space, and Josh actually won 2 awards for this project.
赢了2个奖，他的 partner。
And I guess it's not on here. I thought I'd put it on here, but anyway, he won these 2 awards, one in London and one a general one.
一个伦敦的奖。
But again, this is in Zhuhai, and this is still here in Zhuhai. So, like,
这个很棒。
Whisky bar
I think it's-
Whisky bar
yeah, it was a whiskey bar. It's in Beishan Village again, Beishan Village. So, and then this wall is my wall basically, and
他的一个奖。
it documents these sculptures, the process of making these sculptures.
雕塑作品，
The little houses are mine as well.
这
So
些小房子也是他的。
these were works that were done with photo etched material like copper in this case, aluminum in this case, and then I take away the image. It's trees, obviously. So the idea was the fusion of nature and the man-made world.
就是用不同材料做的房子，但是它的图像都用就是树木，就是代表自然跟人工材料的一个组合。
So part of this work was at the Brooklyn Museum. I was commissioned to do a large installation at the Brooklyn Museum, and like this one was, I think, part of that installation, with a lot of other stuff that
Right.
was part of it. But this was one element in it.
OK， 是布鲁克林
Museum
博物馆
of Art.
的一个项目啊。
哦，OK。
So anyway, so my work started with this in
Your very first work
1975.
他的人生的第一个作品，1975年的。
哦，
So this was at the Neuberger Museum in New York. So it's in front of the museum, Neuberger Museum.
Neuberger.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. It's over here somewhere.
是纽约的一个 博物馆。
Yeah, I'm not sure where it says it, but anyway, it is. It is.
Is
here.
it still?
No, it's not there anymore. I think it got hit by a tractor or something, and they had to take it away. But anyway.
就是开玩笑问他这个作品还在不在，然后他说
Anyway, so here you
在，
can-
可能就
here
是
you
被
can
某一个
see-
拖拉机给撞了。
This is the museum behind it. I think the museum.
这个是博物馆。
Yeah,
后面这个
the museum was designed by Philip Johnson, famous architect.
Philip Johnson。
Philip
建筑
Johnson.
这个建筑师设计的。
Anyway, so my early work was with these elements. The idea was using tension, pulling forces, and compression, and then gravity. And so it's the balance between these three forces that make these structures work.
就是他的作品是有3个元素，就是拉力、压力、重力然后就做成这个对。
So, so these are some models. Again, not too many of them get built large, so I end up working with models mostly. This is a model as well. That's that model. Yeah, that's the actual structure. But this, if I built this, it would be huge. It would be large. This one actually was built huge. This was like 5 meters maybe across.
5米。
5米?
5米
Yeah.
这个长5米。
And you could see that it was hanging between 2 buildings. There were 2 buildings,
Right.
one here, one here,
Okay.
and it hung off of a cable across.
就
And
是
it,
在2座建筑之间然后
and
吊
it
起来。
rotated.
Oh.
It rotated around.
可以
可以旋转。
所以可以对，可以旋转。
哦
Yeah. So what happens? Someone made a video of that, which I didn't put here. I should have put here actually.
有人
But
拍了一个视频。
the video, you can see it's like Chinese calligraphy. It's just beautiful. It moves. It's
然后那
really,
个视频里面他的作品就是看起来就像中国书法
哦
就是那些一笔一画的这样。
yeah. So again, this is another model. Yeah.
这是模型。
Yeah. Now this is another sculptor, very famous sculptor, Kenneth Snelson, who I've met. I've been to his studio. He worked with similar ideas, but his with always linear elements. The geometry changes entirely when you use curved surfaces. So it's just for reference purposes that I
他
refer
就
to.
拿了一个很有名的 Kenneth
Snelson Yeah,
另外一
Kenneth
个
Snelson
设计师的作品来做对比但是他用的材料是不一样的，is it metal？
It's steel. Yeah.
是钢，但就如果他要做成这种可以弯曲的，他就是很不同的感觉
Yeah, I met him. I went to his studio. We talked. He's a very nice guy. You see his work in Tokyo, Osaka, all over the world.
OK
everywhere.
这是一个非常有名的设计师，然后他跟他就是见了一面，然后他这个设计师的作品就是在日本很多地方都有用。
Yeah. Anyway, so this was the model, and then the Herbert Johnson Museum at Cornell University wanted to do this project, except when I finished it, they said we can't hang it. It was meant to be hung like this.
Okay.
It was made with PVC like this one is. And then again, like I said, there's regulations, politics,
Yeah.
always you're dealing with this stuff. And so it ended up having to sit on the ground. And I said, well, that changes the entire structure,
Right.
but this is it. So that's a picture of me
这是
standing.
康奈尔大学的其中一个博物馆的一个项目，然后当时他这个作品本来就应该是挂起来的，但是后来就是很多就是他们馆里面可能有很多规定嘛，然后就挂不起来，所以就整个感觉就很不一样。
And this is my roof of my studio in Ithaca, New York, where I made this piece. You can see now the scale. This is just one element of this, yeah?
Okay.
So these things were 20 feet. I don't even know what that is. 4 meters, 4 meters from one
You can
end.
see the comparison here.
Yeah, you can see from me, right. So anyway, this is the same
他在
piece.
工作室做这个作品的时候
This is the same
照片
this is the same one, except this one's smaller. This is smaller.
And you
就
have
是
it.
对，
And now I hang it. And now I hang it.
就是那个作品，这里就能挂起来了。
So anyway, so these are the early pieces. Then this is another model. And the gallery here said, we need a floor piece. Let's do a floor piece. And so I said, okay, they wanted to do this one originally, but this has a whole hidden structure you can't see.
Right.
So you can't do that here. But I said we can do this one because it's self-standing.
后山他本来是想他做这个作品，但是这个作品有一个问题，就是它有一个结构它是看不到然后他在这里做的话也有难度，然后后来就选了选了这个。
Yeah, so that's the model for it. There's the piece. This one was also done large scale, but this it was disassembled. It was in the university where I was studying. And then the first architecture project I worked on was this. Before I even
第一
came
个建筑项目，
to China, this was in Thailand.
泰国
And there was a tsunami. It killed many, many people. They wanted to make a museum and memorial.
OK， 就是一个纪念馆纪念那次海啸上升的人的一个纪念馆。
So what I said was, okay, you know, a tsunami comes from the earth. It's made from an earthquake. So we build the museum under the ground into the earth. And then above we have this wave-like structure of glass. And then on these two walls in the back, these two walls here, we have water running down, and you hear the sound of water coming into this pool. And as you go through this passageway, the sound gets stronger and stronger.
它就是构思是就是海啸，它是由地底的一个地震引起的，然后它就是设计就是在这里就是相当于代表地下嘛，然后它上面这个海浪，然后就是这个构思的一个设计出来，然后这两面墙的话它是水，然后它水流下来的话就是。比较一个肃穆的有点肃穆的一个感觉。
So this side is a memorial space, and this side is the entrance to the museum.
这个是纪念馆的入口，然后这里是
memorial, so a place to remember the people who died.
这是纪念馆的空间这是入口。
Yeah.
他刚刚还说这个水是有声音的，然后随着人们走到里面，走得越来越深入这个馆，这个水流的声音会越来越大。就海浪的这个声音，我觉得这个好。
So the idea is you come down through the space, you cut on the all walls of the earth. I leave the exposed earth packed here, so you can see that you're in the earth. And then the exhibition areas are in different levels below. And then this place was actually on the edge of a cliff overlooking the sea.
Okay.
So as you come down, the last thing you can see is the sea out here where the cafe terrace is, and you can have your coffee here, you can hang out here.
原来这里是在一个山崖上面的，然后它这边就是一个山崖，然后这边是大海，然后它这个设计就是分层，然后就相当于把地剖开然后就是做了这个分层，然后就是
明白
代表就是地震引起这个海浪。
Right. Anyway, so there actually is a museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art in Osaka, that is almost identical to this.
Really?
It was so much so that I actually looked to see when it was designed to make sure nobody had ripped off my concept.
Who's the architect? 大阪Osaka Museum.
Osaka Museum of
大阪博物
Arts.
馆的设计跟它这个非常像。
I think
我觉得有点奇怪。
I really, because I thought maybe they were a judge on the panel that reviewed this,
okay.
But because it's almost identical. It's a glass wave on top. It goes into the ground. It's almost like a carbon copy.
就是那个大阪美术馆的人，对，然后他可能就在当时就是这个纪念馆的评委
And I think the architect
然后看到他的设计，然后就可能是致敬是吧？致敬一下。
If I remember correctly,
I think the architect was Caesar Pele.
It was a Western.
Yeah, Western architect.
Okay.
Yeah, Western
就是
architect.
他就刚才说的是那个大阪美术馆的一个设计师的名字。
But I think it was
是一个欧美人。
I think it was designed several years before this was. So I don't think they stole it. I think it just happens to be we had the same idea.
OK， 然后他们也有就是海浪的这个设计，然后好像是when was the
Museum
Osaka yeah.
I think the competition was done in 2005 and the museum was built in 2004.
项目是94年的，然后大阪。
So I think the museum was being developed
Probably like 2002, 2001.
So I don't think it was a ripoff. But it was clearly we were working with the same concept. It was when I got to Osaka, I was breathtaking. I couldn't believe it.
You actually went?
Yeah, I went there. I've been,
还去大阪那个美术馆看的，去看的。
Yeah, and I was shocked at how similar it was. I mean, really, that's why I had to go back and look at find out who the jurors were on my thing and find out when this thing was actually, because I was so clearly similar that it was shocking actually.
然后他就是大阪那个项目可能比他早1-2年，但是他们就想到一块去了。就挺神奇的他也不觉得就是抄袭，但是就是大家也想到一块儿去了。
Okay, so this is much more recent. This was last year.
去年的
冰岛滑雪小
In okay, this is from Iceland, but this original design was from Bordeaux, Norway. Bordeaux, Norway is above the Arctic Circle. And this year, 2024, they are the recipient of the European Cultural Capital of Europe. So they get a lot of money to develop projects. So they had a call for a sculpture project, and I proposed this, which was a pavilion. There's a better picture of it over here.
Sorry, is it in Norway or Iceland?
Norway.
OK， 这是挪威的一个项目，然后它今年就赢了一个世界文化城的一个奖，所以就拿了很多资金。然后就有钱去搞很多项目。
Okay, so here's a better picture that gives you an idea what this thing was. But this is a model. This is the Icelandic version. So I recycled this concept. But anyway, this is the idea for Norway, and so it's a large pavilion. And they had this beautiful landscape on the other side. The idea is you come through the pavilion and then the whole space opens up like this, so you can see the mountain.
就是它就是从这个门走到里面的话，然后就是在里面的视角就是这样然后就看到后面的山风景啊。
So from this model, this whole piece would be open, all gone, yeah, and nothing on the inside. They would all be open. So the idea is you can go there to see the landscape, and you could actually be protected from the wind and the rain, and so that was the idea.
This is
shipping containers, yes.
也是集中箱的一个元素
把它切割了
然后就也有这挡风挡阳光的功能然后让人可以更好的去欣赏周边的风景。
So to give you an idea of scale, these are 40-foot shipping containers. So this is 16 meters tall.
16.
Yeah, 16
米。
And this is 20 meters wide.
20米。
20米宽 Yeah. So quite big. So they wanted something on 4 meter by 4 meter. 4 米 by 4 米. Yeah.
What was it?
They wanted sculpture that would fit on a platform 4 meters by 4 meters.
Okay.
So I said, look, you get all this money from Europe. You may never see this money again. Do something really, really sensational.
本来就是组委可以要他搞一个4米乘4米的一个作品就算了，然后他说。 这样你们能拿到这么多钱而且你们可能以后都没有，就是不能再看到这么多钱了，就不如搞一个更大型的一个作品。
Yeah, I mean this is big enough. It'll be on your landscape. People will come and look for this thing. But anyway, but I also said, look, the only way this can happen, this project, is the whole community involved. The shipbuilding community, which they have, the welders, the other people, the local designers who would help with the fabrication stuff. And so it was a very big project.
So is this project finished or ongoing?
They didn't want to do this. It was way over their head.
OK 然后他当时就是想这个构思的时候，他就想就是一个全社区的参与嘛，然后包括船运公司然后社区的人然后他因为这些在当地都不是问题嘛，然后但是后面就觉得他这个项目还是太大了。 然后就可能是超预算了吧，然后就是没有采取它的。
Okay, so I have this idea, and this is not going to go here. So there was another call for another project in Iceland. They wanted a ski lodge.
然后他就去冰岛去提案。
Yeah, so they wanted a ski lodge. People come skiing. They want
滑雪的一个棚滑雪的一个滑雪站。
Yeah, they want a place to come warm up and sit and talk and then maybe put their equipment, fix their equipment a little bit and then go back out and go skiing.
Right.
So this was the idea for making this into a ski lodge. So that required having a second floor put in and a structure to support the second floor, a staircase as well, and various different things that they wanted. They wanted these facilities, media lounge, bathroom, obviously kitchen, things like this.
Okay. 就是让滑雪的人 在里面休息一下，然后休整之后，然后再回去滑雪，所以他就做了一个2层的空间，然后这里有一个图书馆一个厕所
kitchen
厨房，然后就是这个楼梯可以上去这样子。
Yeah, so anyway, so I repurposed this idea. I continue, I leave the open part, I close, and then it becomes this model. So this model is that project.
Okay.
So there would be another one of these here. There would be another part of this here.
okay.
I open it for you to see inside.
哦，对对对，他就是从挪威的这个，然后就改了一下，然后本来这里也是一个集装箱来的，然后他就是在这里就打开，然后让就是观众可以看到里面是什么东西。
And here we have the skier, right?
啊，也，这是滑雪，不是它就是一个滑雪站。
Yeah. So I repurposed this idea. Now, this organization who posted this, when I went to go read the contract,
Yeah.
I saw in the contract that the minute you submit this idea, they steal all your intellectual property rights. You have no more rights over that design. And then they feed that design into an AI computer, and then anything that computer comes up with is now their property.
What?
And I said, no, I'm not going to submit it. But unfortunately, they are probably stealing from many, many young architects and designers who don't even bother to read the contract.
Right. 然后他就是给这个冰岛的业主提案的时候，然后他看到合同上面写着，就是一旦你提案了，然后他们就是拥有你的知识产权，然后他们就是会把你的模型，然后放到那个 AI 电脑 AI 里面，然后就是让电脑去怎么样，然后就第二次创作啊之类的，然后他就不同，Ron就不同意了。但他就想，就是这些组委会肯定是骗了很多年轻的设计师啊，然后因为年轻设计师从来都不读合同。
So in some way, this is a lesson on the dangers one has as a designer. Huh?
Right， 就是设计师的一个难题。
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the exhibition basically. The last part is this. Again, we've talked about this before. This is the sun protection for this structure, and that's
就是展
it.
览差不多就是这个样子，然后就是最后的话就是展现它这个遮阳的一个模型。
我是想问那个作品，用集装箱是有一个环保的考虑吗？
The idea of using containers, is it the consideration for the environment?
It's because it's recycling in a way.
对对对，就是可利用的环保的。
Yeah, it's the same thing like the shipping pallets. That's recycling also.
就是跟那个货架的 idea 是一样的，就是环保。
Yeah, it's, so you have these things that can be used, and why not use them? Now I'm looking into the fans from the large windmills that generate electricity. Because you go to Europe, I was in Belgium recently, and you see whole yards full of these enormous things. I mean, they're enormous. The one wing of this thing would be twice the size of this building.
Okay.
And so I think, why not use this material? Now they're kind of like, what do we do with all this stuff now that it's been 20 years they've been in operation?
Yeah. 然后它下一个作品可能就是用那种叫什么电风车，就是风车发电的那种电风车，然后那些风车它很大，可能就是有比这个空间还大，
要30多米一片叶子，好像。
对，然后他在比利时看到很多就是废弃了的那种风车，然后他可能就下一个作品就是环保一点嘛，然后就用那种材料。
对。
Anyway, that's all that. So
We look forward to your next.
let me introduce you to Scott. This is
Hello.
an artist friend. We did an exhibition together the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Was it the beginning of the year? When was
他
that?
是艺术家。Stop.
Anyway, an artist from Shenzhen. Shenzhen, yeah. This is an artist from Shenzhen.
Mr. Liu. Yeah, Mr. Liu.
And anyway, very good draftsman. This guy's great. Really.
With the sketches.
Yeah.
I just met.
Yeah.
他们是今年做了一个展览是吧？今年有他们和
Yeah, it was in May. He's got to better remember than this.
The opening was my birthday. That was my.
Oh, okay, that's right. It was your birthday. That's right. It was your
Official opening.
birthday.
That was an easy one to
我去
remember.
看了他们两个人的双个展。你是在珠海？
对，在珠海非常
Yeah, working in
非常
Zhuhai.
在一个小的空间，我是专门过来看他们的那个，然